Chapter 12, Star 999. Matt Scalp's philosophy: being an artist doesn't mean you can't be sensible. You didn't have to starve, and you didn't have to sacrifice living your life. As far as Matt was concerned, that was just self-involved drama. It was performance. Real artists made a plan. Real artists got to work. It just took some preparation and some discipline, some basic common sense. He moved out and got his own place, but he stayed in Burbank, which made sense. Artists didn't have to be in Hollywood or Manhattan Beach. Heck, the studios were in Burbank. Burbank was affordable, sensible. He even had a spare room in the house he'd rented. He'd not only have a springboard for his own career, but he could help other U of Arch grads moving out there get their career started too. Plus, he could still hang out with Superguy and Marge whenever he felt like it. It was that easy. And he got a job, a sensible, stable job. He was always good with computers and got a job running IT at a local real estate office. It paid the bills and left room on weekends that he'd need to start taking independent editing projects. Then 3 months later, he answered an ad to work in IT at a financial company, making $34K plus benefits. Matt Scalp was set. Dorf was a glorious mess. Back in school, he was late to class and late to turn in assignments, but it still seemed to work out. He could do amazing voices. You name the star, he could do it. He'd switch from Bugs Bunny to Ronald Reagan to Cher, all in the same sentence. Dorf had done the voice narration for Matt's senior project at U of Arts. And out of the blue, Dorf called Matt and asked if he could crash at his place for a few days. Dorf was planning to check things out. He was thinking about moving to L.A. Matt was thrilled to have him. This was exactly why he'd gotten the extra bedroom. Matt picked Dorf up at the airport, and Dorf already had plans that night. He was meeting a friend for dinner in West Hollywood. "How are you getting there?" Matt asked, laughing at Dorf. Dorf bounced back in perfect Roger Rabbit voice. "No clue." Of course he didn't. Textbook Dorf. It was unspoken that Matt would drive him, but also unspoken that Matt was invited. So off they went. Dorf's friend was a sad, fat guy named Eddie, who was a pastry chef. He'd picked a hole-in-the-wall Korean restaurant for dinner. Eddie knew exactly what to order, and dish after dish rolled in. Dorf even picked up the tab to thank Matt for the ride and the free room. Eddie mentioned a piano bar nearby, and off they walked, a misfit trio down the sidewalk. They hit a place where Eddie said they made great old fashions, and they drank 2 each in an almost empty bar. Matt was feeling so good he picked up the tab on his way back from the bathroom. The piano bar was filled with gay men all roaring along to show tunes and Madonna songs, and there was Matt and Dorf in the middle of it all, and wasn't it wonderful? They stumbled to Eddie's place from there, where they played old jazz records and ate a bright green birthday cake, and Matt fell asleep on the couch. Matt and Dorf slipped out that next morning, careful not to wake Eddie up. Blearily, they got breakfast at a diner. That hangover felt like bliss. Later that week, when Dorf mentioned he was planning to officially make the move, it was understood that he was living at Matt's place while he got on his feet. A month later, Dorf arrived in an absolute piece of shit car, and it was like they'd lived together for years. Instead of quiet, there was banter and encouragement. It was perfect. Dorf got right out there, too, calling contacts, answering ads, reaching out to recording studios. He'd leave the most outrageous messages, doing multiple voices and whole skits. Matt was sure someone would be interested in Dorf if he kept it up. And listen, Matt told him right away and direct, "I don't expect any rent money this month. I want that clear and upfront." "I certainly do appreciate that," Dorf responded in a perfect Bill Clinton voice, "and may God bless you." But the month went by quickly, and Dorf's momentum started to hit reality. There were only so many studios and agents and contacts he could call. He had a few leads, but those were moving slowly. Matt got it, 100%. He knew the drill, and he knew addressing it head-on was the right call. Sensible. "Okay, listen," he announced. "I know things haven't panned out. I'll do 1 more month without rent, but I gotta say, I think you should consider a day job." "Thank you," Dorf came back in a deep Elvis voice. "Thank you very much." Then that next week, 2 things happened. First, Matt's boss called him in and let him know he was in the running for a promotion. His boss had noticed how efficiently Matt worked and had gotten some compliments on how professional Matt's demeanor was. A promotion would mean more money, same hours. Perfect. This wasn't so hard. Set yourself up with a sensible foundation, and you could totally pursue your art from there. The second thing that happened was that Matt got a call from a U of Arts alum he knew from school, Katrina. Katrina was a year behind Matt, and she'd moved out there recently. She wanted to be a director and was starting to dive into entry jobs on shoots that she found in the drama log. She was struggling and wanted some advice. They arranged to get coffee that weekend, which Matt looked forward to all week. Katrina was a tangled ball of stress and doubt. She was living with an aunt in Northridge and working jobs that didn't even pay for the gas it took to get to the shoot locations. She couldn't afford to get her own place, and she couldn't afford the long commute. Not to mention she was making the drive on 14-hour days and getting zero sleep, and all of it seemed just impossible. Matt patted her forearm and said the right things, but best of all, he had a perfect solution. Stay at his place. It was right near the studios and easier to get to shoots. Plus, no grumpy aunt to deal with. It was exactly why he'd gotten the place, not only to launch his career, but to help other U of Arts grads do the same. Do you really mean it? Katrina asked, near tears. Dorf just got a job. He's saving up and planning to get a place with some other friends. Should be just another month. He even gave her his pager number with a special code he'd come up with. The pager was through work, so he couldn't use it for personal calls, but he had a way around it. Just put in *999. Really? *99 is a code we use all the time at work. So if you put in a third 9, it'll look like a mistype *99. My work will never know, and I'll know it's you. Matt, you're the best, just the best guy ever, she responded. They took to talking every couple of days from then on. She was lonely and down about her career. He'd hear her struggles on whatever shoestring shoot she was on and coach her through arrogant co-producers and leering crews of gross middle-aged men. Every time his pager peeped off, he felt a rush of excitement with the possibility of their secret code. Come the end of the month, Dorf arrived home triumphant. "I struck gold, Matthew," he said in a perfect Jack Nicholson. Then he opened his backpack to reveal a huge Ziploc bag filled with pot. "Weed?" Matt asked. "I don't get it." "It means the rent is all set and then some," Dorf smiled. "I'll be able to sell this for 3 times what I paid." "You bought weed with your rent money?" "I bought the next 3 months rent with my rent money. It's elementary," he finished with a British accent. But as far as Matt could tell, the only thing Dorf did with the weed was smoke it. When rent day came, Dorf said he needed just a few more days, but after a few days, Matt stopped asking because each time it was more awkward. He'd come home and find Dorf's fast food wrappers left in the living room. Matt would angrily swipe them up, muttering about how Dorf had money to eat out every meal, and no wonder he couldn't afford rent. Then came the shirt and a real deal fight. Matt took extra care to look sharp at work, especially with his promotion looming. He wore a crisp, dry clean shirt every day. He counted them out and had them built into his budget. But on Friday morning, no shirt. Gone. He scrambled and picked the cleanest one he could find, but he was totally off at work that day. He kept catching his reflection in different surfaces and seeing the less than crisp shirt. "Did you take my shirt?" he asked, stopping in the door. What?" Dorf shrugged in a cartoon voice. "Those are my work shirts, and I keep them counted carefully. I had to go to work looking like a bum today." "You look fine," Dorf yelled back. "You need to calm down. Jesus." "That's not your call," Matt yelled. "Stay out of my room." A haze settled after that. A silence. When they spoke, it was loaded and heavy. Matt felt it constantly. Even when he wasn't home, the haze hung. He found himself avoiding his own house. He'd get in, shoot right through, and hide in the bedroom, feeling trapped, while Dorf sat watching TV, sometimes alone, sometimes with a friend. The smell of weed, always present. Dirty dishes in the sink. Food wrappers and cups half filled with flat soda. It didn't even feel like it was Matt's home anymore. The following Saturday, a group of U of Arts grads had planned to get together at a place called Bobby McGee's. They reserved a room and everything. A couple of folks were visiting from out of town, and it looked like a big event. Katrina was going too. Dorf as well, although Matt and Dorf only spoke about it tersely. The two of them drove over together, talking sparingly. But as soon as they got there, Dorf burst into action. Voices galore. He hopped from person to person, making everyone laugh and jolting the room with his energy. Matt sat down next to some guys he knew and got into a long conversation about editing software and the new digital sound recording technology coming out. He missed talking about this stuff, and he was having a blast. But then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed Dorf sitting next to Katrina. The two were chatting away, and Katrina kept smiling and laughing. The waitress arrived with a tray of drinks, and Matt noticed a martini, which he'd heard Dorf order. "You know what?" he told the waitress. "That guy owes me money, so..." And he grabbed up the martini and sucked it back in one gulp. Then he secretly watched the drinks arrive at the other side of the table, and a confused Dorf look around for his drink. Matt smiled at the scene he was witnessing, but at the same time, he noticed Katrina putting her hand on Dorf's shoulder. A shiver went through Matt's whole body. Twice more, Matt pulled it off. He watched the waitress like a hawk. Every time she brought drinks, he managed to intercept her. The guys next to him caught on and had a good laugh about it, too. Through the bleary effect of the alcohol, Matt watched Dorf argue with the waitress from the other side of the table. Then Matt noticed Dorf getting up and coming his way. "Be very quiet," Matt said to the guys around him in an Elmer Fudd voice. "Matt," Dorf came at him, half laughing and half angry. "What gives?" "Wabbits are very twicky," Matt responded with a big grin. "Are you drunk?" "Are you broke?" Matt responded. "What?" Dorf stammered. "If you can't pay the rent, how can you pay for drinks?" "What's the matter with you?" Dorf squawked. "What's wrong, Wabbit? Don't like it when people take advantage of you? Are you gonna cry?" Matt could feel the awkward silence from everyone at the table. He knew he was going too far, but that made him even angrier. How was he the one going too far? "Matt," Dorf said, looking around the table. "Come on." Dorf was wearing the embarrassment all over him. Matt looked over and caught Katrina's great gaze. She was horrified at the whole thing. "Excuse me, waitress!" Matt yelled far louder than he meant to. "This is Mr. Dorf. He's a very, very good rabbit, and Dorf is going to pay for my tab tonight. Thank you!" He stood up too fast and stumbled, sending glasses and plates clattering. He took a step away from the silent table, then turned back. "Ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba, that's all, folks!" Then he staggered towards the front of the restaurant, asked the hostess to call him a cab, and then laid down across the bench where people waited to be seated.